Hi guys, it's Marianne, the Frugal Chef. Okay, the frugal tip of the day. Going and eating out is quite a budget, and if you can avoid doing that, it's a lot better for your pocketbook. However, it's nice once in a while to go out and have a meal. So, these are my little tidbits when you go out. How about, you share a meal? Generally, restaurants, they serve you so much food that if you finish it, you're gonna probably keel over and die. Or well, you got a really big stomach. But yeah, it's just these big, huge portions. If you can share it with somebody, then you have two meals for one price, which is not bad. Another idea would be, to order, let's say you're at a beef place, so you order a piece of steak and you fill up with the veggies and the, let's say, baked potato, and you eat only part of the beef, and then you take it home and you make a second meal out of that. Now that's a good savings, huh? Okay, guys, today, why don't we make some pork chops with apples in the crock pot? I'm going to tell you, I went a little nuts with my apples. I used 4 green ones plus one that I had extra. I'll show you. You don't really need so many. If you want to split this in half, the amount of apples, that'll be perfectly fine. I think I like an apple mania thing here. Let's make this, okay? I have a couple tablespoons of butter melting here. I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to this. And I'm going to add 2 onions, white onions, which I just, I thinly sliced. You can use brown onions for this, that's fine. So now we're just going to cook these until they start getting a little brown. And our onions are where we want them. They cook for about, well, I'm going to say 6 or 7 minutes. They're starting to brown. I'm going to set these aside. I have 4 1-inch thick pork chops here. What I'm going to do is trim off most of the fat, okay? And then we'll come back and season these. Our pork chops are trimmed. If you want to buy thinner ones, that's fine. They are cheaper. You're just going to have to adjust the cooking time a little bit. These are going to cook for about 5 hours. On high, we want them to be super tender. But, if you're going to do that, you can reduce it by an hour and you'll be fine. I'm going to season these with salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. And then we'll brown them. Alright guys, all I want to do is give this a nice sear on both sides. It's going to take just a few minutes. So as soon as this is browned on one side, I'm going to flip them, brown on the other side, and I will meet you guys at the crock pot. So let's get our liquid ready for our pork chops. I'm going to put a cup of apple juice into this measuring cup. And I'm going to add half a cup of white wine. If you do not want to cook with wine, go ahead and use chicken stock. If you do that, adjust your salt. Because we're going to add a little salt to this. And we're going to season it with some pepper. I'm also going to add a tablespoon of brown sugar. So mix that, and that's the liquid we're going to use for our pork chops. We're going to use 4 green apples for this, which I cored obviously and cut this thin. I'm not going to bother peeling them. Now, if you don't have the time to be wasting on making your nice little thin apple chips, you can just cut them thicker. What we're going to do is we're going to layer half of our apples at the bottom of our pot here. Nice thick layer of apples. On top of this, I'm going to place half of our onion. Now I'm going to add about half a small fennel bulb, which I just chopped. Okay, now we're going to place our pork chops on top of that. If you don't want to brown the pork chops, that would be okay. I don't like that boiled feeling with crock pot. I always like to brown my meat. But if you're in a hurry or you don't care, then you can skip the whole browning. It also helps to, you know, seal the juices inside the meat. But this is going to cook long enough that you don't have to worry about it being dry. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the onions on top of the pork. The rest of the fennel. You just need a small bulb for this. If you hate fennel and you don't want, you know, you don't like the flavor, or you can't find it, go ahead and use rosemary. Just take some of the needles off of the stalk and just put them in, you know, at the bottom and on top here. Finally, guys, I'm going to finish layering the rest of our apples on this. Now, when you're using a crock pot, you really do not need a lot of liquid, because what happens is it starts steaming in there, and you know, it condenses, and then it comes down again, and it condenses. So the liquid kind of just goes around and around. That is why it's really important for you not to be peeking into your pot. Just leave it alone. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little more apple to this, just because my granddaughter was here yesterday, and she's almost 2, and she took a little tiny bite out of an apple, and I don't want to throw it out. So you don't need to do that. 4 green apples, plenty, plenty. Okay, now we're going to pour our liquid in here. I'm going to go ahead and cover this and cook it on high for about 5 hours, guys. As I said, please don't be touching your crock pot. Leave it alone. Guys, these are ready. They cook for 4 hours. So now let's put them on a platter, and so I can show you how amazing they are. So before I cover these with the apples, I want to show you how tender they are. You can actually cut these with a fork, but you know, they still have some texture to them. I don't want them to, you know, to just disassemble when you touch them. They're perfect. They're nice and tender. They're juicy. All right, let's put the apples on this. Okay, check it out. This is really good. I tasted some of the fennel, and you know, all those flavors in there just melded so beautifully. I actually found some pieces of pork on the side so that, again, I can show you how amazingly tender this meat is. Oh, my friends. This recipe will be on the website waiting for you to come and print it, of course. You know, we have all kinds of slow cooker recipes on that website, and of course, all kinds of pork recipes. So come and check it out. I'm going to serve this with some mashed potatoes. I have some gravy, some of the juice left in the in the slow cooker, in the crock pot. So I'm going to put it in a little gravy boat so everybody can just, you know, use the juice. Okay, my friends, eat well without going broke. I'm going to see you guys soon.